2 elimination match between GoldenShocker and Judge Infinious. My name is Dathis, stand in the fire, DPS higher tomorrow, and I'm joined by Demarine. Fail wish she was an archfey like me too. How's it going this evening, Demi?
Well, I hope to hold everybody in my thrall for about the next hour and 45 minutes, so we shall see how that ends up turning out, but otherwise I am feeling great tonight. I am excited for one more elimination match tonight. Both these runners 3 and 2, one person, bracket spot, one person, tournament will come to a conclusion. I mean, 3 and 3 still is great. Both these runners have worked very hard, but ultimately it's gonna come down to 2 will enter, and most likely 1 will make it to 4 and 2.
I mean, there is the possibility of yet another tie as we've had in this series, and I know how much you admins absolutely love those to happen all the time.
They don't create problems. I don't know what you're talking about. It just would mean that there's 2 people in brackets instead of 1. We'd put them at the bottom of the list because they'd be 3, 2, and 1. They would have to play in the play-in round, and they would probably play somebody 4 and 2. So would need to win 2 games in the round of their play-in round, then win 2 games in the round of 32 against opponents who only need 1. It's actually not that big of a problem. I don't know why everyone's concerned about it.
And this is why I'm glad to have you here to help me to clarify this stuff, because I have no idea how that was going to go. That's wonderful. But speaking of things that are wonderful, actually, I'm kind of excited about this spicy Kane start with the dwarf item list. He's gonna be a great bit of a powerhouse in the beginning of this seed.
Yeah, it'll be a real good start. We've got 2 characters to find. One of them, though, is Edge. So A, we know Edge is in the seed somewhere, but B, it is C standard. Edge is going to be hiding away. We're not going to see him in the Baron Inn, and we're certainly not going to see him on top of Mount Hobbs. But, all those items that give us character checks, they go so far up in value right now that, you can't skip character checks. Not that you want to on these flags, but you really can't skip them now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That means Edge has at least a 1, if not up to 3 out of 6 chance of being in these locations, because it's 2 an Earth Crystal package, Sand Ruby, Darkness, and Hook. Oh, and Baron. So out of 7, my bad.
Yeah, or could be hanging out in the Giant. That happens.
8. See, I can math. That's why I'm not helping see where everything goes. But just gets to oversee here. The objectives, as you mentioned, are pretty good, but I'm also pretty happy with the joke objectives we had that are no longer on the screen. Shoutouts to Commander Leonhardt for those. I do love me talks about the Crystal Sword. There's been a surprisingly large amount of non-Crystal Sword Cecil seeds, mostly because it is in that tier 7 pool, and the max loot with our T Wildish is still only tier 6, so very, very few chances to see it throughout these seeds.
Yeah, unless you're going ham and popping open a lot of the encounter chests, which some runners have to great effect, finding that tier 7 loot is a lot harder. However, there is complete Cave Magnus in the objective, so you turn in the pink tail, you get a guaranteed tier 7 drop. Forging the Legend Sword while we're still in the Swiss rounds will net you a free 100% completely free, no royalties attached Excalibur. We don't get that after this, but it looks like we're about to take off at this point in time, and so here we go.
Absolutely. And we have a Quack Kid paired with the Cane, and we have an Asura for a Rydia that may or may not be in this seed. Not a bad start. You're really hoping for that number 5 objective, Get Porum, who is your favorite white mage, who's going to be doing a lot of work with this Palom, enabling Twin in the overworld. If we get her early, that is going to be probably almost better than this Cane, to be honest.
I'm really hoping she doesn't show up.
You're hoping that your girl doesn't show up? What?
Look, I want her to be hiding. I want Palom to play hide and seek instead of, cast twin magic on everything.
I mean, that's kind of fair. If she's hiding behind, say, a rude, maybe Sand Ruby location, or so we don't get her till late, or maybe if she's up on the Giant too, again, there's a good shot of either one of our characters being up there, but both runners off, and are we going to see a little bit of divergence looting? Infinious getting actually a really nice protect ring out of this watery pass.
Absolutely. We also might see like early gangs so that we can play catch these hands, but we'll see how that goes. GoldenShocker is making a play I've seen a lot of runners make, which is if they want high gear loot, high level loot, why did not go to the best place on the overworld, right? Drop a save in front of Eblin and try and not find 3 encounter chests.
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and Eblin is one of the highest. I think it's the highest tier loot on the overworld. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but it is just super looted. It's like Damsian +2, if I remember correctly, like looting level wise.
Yeah, it's fairly powerful. However, it's also fairly unsafe because again, there's 3 encounter chests in here. If you run into one right now, you are absolutely going to have to reset because, well, trust me, you're not fighting these chests with a level 10 ungeared Kane and a level 10 ungeared Palom. It's not going to happen. Infinious is going to give us a look at the bed. Porum, taking a nap. She's sleeping in today.
Absolutely. So we do know where your lovely girl's hiding. If that Sand Ruby is behind somewhere rude, then we could see that Porum kind of resting there for a good while. GoldenShocker did actually find an exit on his looting and then found a dragon or a boss chest. So pretty decent to find one of the 3 really quickly. Dragoon Helm and a Black Sword if you find an early Cecil on Infinious' side. So
Yep.
Loot here, fairly decent tier so far. Nothing that stands out besides maybe, like, again, the Protect Ring. That Glass Helm's nice, though.
Yeah, GoldenShocker, though, got his hands on a Crystal Ring, and Mage Masher got a Mute Knife as well. So, so far the Seed weapons, nowhere to be found realistically. I mean, Kayn can equip the Mage Knife, but it's not as powerful as the Wind Spear. It's just good against mages. It's a great weapon, though. It's got a ton of utility. If we find an early mage boss, it will get Kayn or even potentially Palom's damage up through the roof for a little bit, which is kind of nice.
Absolutely. So, whereas it's, like you said, not great for later on, probably going to be using that Dwarf Axe, swapping in and out in combat, which is costly time-wise, but the damage will 100% be worth it. GoldenShocker still going through and looting the rest of Evelyn Castle, leaving those trap chests on the ground. Whereas Infinious is looking and finds us. Hey, there's a Pain Man and a Baigan. It's a fight you can kind of take with this squad.
Yeah, I mean, you did mention the existence of that black sword, so that's always handy. You've got, looks like there's a dagger on Kayn right now. Looks like that's the assassin dagger, which is not really going to help against Baigan here, but it does make him faster, which is kind of nice. Gonna take down the front arm and bluff with Palom for power, which is really important.
Yeah, that extra magic power, especially if he has to deal with that wall, you want to cast. You're gonna be casting as few spells as possible. So there's that. Also, Infinious kind of heads up play. Cecil's not doing a lot of damage from the back row. Does use that Dark Wave. Takes HP% from Cecil, but 80 damage from everything. That's nothing to really scoff at.
Big find for GoldenShocker potentially there. There is an archer bow a samurai bow now. We're gonna upgrade directly along with a heroine robe. So maybe he's hoping that he finds an archer on the mountain. We know it's just Cecil, but you know, if he'd be super happy with the Rosa right now. It's kind of unfortunate that he's gonna get disappointed in a moment.
Absolutely, and Shocker actually almost going for a boss check, but just decides, nah, I want my other character first. Very, very wise. The thing is, we also still do have some other free characters out there. We do have the Baron in character as a possibility, so there's still a good shot that we have it out in the earliness of the seed. But Phineas, through the fight really quick, getting through and getting some levels, tier 2 spells on the kid, up to stop. That's our kid online to do a lot of the heavy lifting in this seed.
Yeah, got it. Palom is great for that early mid game on these flags. I mean, no slingshot means that later instances of the Quake Kid are way less strong, but you know, having bad access is going to be pretty good at this point in time. We've got it looks like GoldenShocker also found 2 Zeus Rages and a Vampire, so he's going to crack one of those Zeus Rages here to at least blow away both arms and try and do some damage to the main body here. Looking to sort of speed the fight along here. 640 damage is real nice.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of the damage. So you're getting your tier 2 spells. Oh, but Infinious finding something that would have been really nice against the boss. Not only a black robe, which it's fixed and does do the right appropriate spell for black magic, but also a dancing dagger that would have gone through that wall. So Antline paying out as it usually does. I've seen a lot of people loot this place and a lot of people skip it, and it's usually it usually is worth the loot, I've found, from what I've seen.
I mean, it's one of the lowest tier loots in the game, but there's a lot of stuff in a pretty tightly compressed space, so it's hard to say no to that. It's not a lot of work for a lot of items. So you only need to hit one or two good items. You know, you need to hit one or two good, you know, low chance rolls in a lot of shots to get something good. I mean, Dancing Dagger's also only like mid tier, and you know, Black Shirt's not like tier 7. It's because it's only +5, so it's like tier 4. So it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, but +5 stat for the kid at this level when he's rocking next to no gear. I mean, nothing really to say no about that. And again, goes back to that wind spear on Kane. Black belt as well. So Kane is kind of set up to start throwing out some hurt here. Oh, there's a bonus round though. So we got double the checks here at Antlion.
Were you hoping for a trolley seed, chat? Because you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. Demus located. Porum located. You know, we'll probably get a magma key from this, and, you know, all of our dreams will die.
What? I didn't roll this seed though, so it's not going to be Jet. This is Alicel. There's hidden rudeness everywhere. We all know this.
I mean, GoldenShocker's skipping all the chests here, by the way, so it does not pick up either of those items. Early package? You check that?
With the hope of getting either a Fu or that required edge, or maybe even a second shot at that Porum, or again, Rosa to go with that Heroine Robe and Samurai Bow that's on GoldenShocker's side. I would actually take that, because again, you save on the one side, check Demus, check package, get your 2 check routed in right there. Either you keep the Demus check, or you leave it there and go, you know what, we'll come back here another time. That's really good routing on the favor of the runners, though.
Yeah, both of them, by the way, with just the tier 2 spell shot with the jump, and that's the end of the Demus very quickly for both runners here. So, you know, nothing really separating them except for maybe GoldenShocker going for a slightly tougher loot early on. Infinious is going to give us a look, though. Here is Rydia's mom, passed out on the floor because, you know, she's just sunbathing. It's a really nice day in the village. She's got the pass to fight Zeromus.
I mean, well, Darkness Crystal no longer necessary. That's our way to Zeromus. And wow! All right, y'all want a Jet Seed? Because
I guess we take Edge here.
I don't know. I think we pass on him here. Let's just reset and go somewhere else. But Edge is actually going to be very happy for the recipient of both that Mute Dagger and Assassin Dagger that GoldenShocker have. I know Infinious has at least the Dancing and the Mute, so he's going to be doing some good-ish damage. The Assassin Dagger actually be even better, just to get that insane speed on the overworld. But yeah, here's your we can go kind of fast team now.
Yeah, Edge also has Ninja Magic, which does let you cut through a lot of spots in the overworld as well, because it's a big high damage AoE that you don't have to like go into your item menu for, as long as you remember you have it. GoldenShocker's playing this directly, though, is not going directly to Mist, even with the Mist Dragon and package in hand. Instead, just goes right to the defense of Fabul and finds Antlion there. Jump is good because Jump does not initiate the counterattacks, and Lit Lightning 2 is good because it's fast and does a pile of damage at this point. And so this should be pretty academic.
Yeah, Jump, Vampire, Lit 2, not much for the crying here in the way of GoldenShocker side, but it is nice that we're getting a level of divergence, though. Everyone says, you know, we'll check some of this stuff later. And not routing in the Fabul check all in one. Rivers hates it. The crowd loves it because a multi-Fabul dip is always a good time. Plus, this could be where our Magma Key is.
Yeah, GoldenShocker's, like, other than the loot of Fabul, or of Eblin, excuse me, has played this in a pretty standard manner so far. Hobbs into Antlion into the defensive Fabul, finds the hook there. So as things go, that's kind of the underworld access you want to see, even if it is half of an objective. So that's kind of nice. On the other side, though, we found Mom Bomb at the package, which is not great, but you gotta do it. You don't have a choice. It's Edge. You want him.
Yeah, and that's not something you want to see. Also, speaking of things for Edge, on GoldenShocker's side, if you didn't see that loot, that's a ninja and a longsword just sitting outside of Sheila's tower. That is all the equipment we'll need for that Edge. I was talking about, oh yeah, we got these other weapons. Nah, Sheila's like, here, I've got you, fam. Don't worry about it.
God, I haven't actually busted out those boxes in a long while, so it's really nice to see when a runner gets super rewarded for just taking the extra load there for the 4 extra checks and gets 2 swords for Edge. And Edge we know is not only know is in the seed, but you can go get him right now.
Absolutely. And the really fun thing is I love it when I see runners not only loot there, but then go a little cheekily and then go into the back where the throne room is. Another 4 treasure chests there, so it's just the same kind of weighting as there in a nice little condensed section, but it's still out of the way. And I like it when those loot out some good stuff too. Finding some cure 3s in the item shop in Kaipo, that's a pretty neat nice pickup if we don't find ourselves a white mage in short order. Infinious is still going around looting some of the stuff. I don't blame him. Gotta offload some of the lovely items that we have. Some of those archer bows, which are okay, but not great. Shurikens, even though we know we have edges very nearby. But again, we have GoldenShocker saying, "Nah, I'm going to see if there's more vanilla going on here." Which I mean, I'm commentating. It's not out of the ordinary to assume it's here.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a duplicate Edge here and GoldenShocker picks up duplicate Edge here at the back of this pass here in Eblin, like that's a bunch of time saved. Like you have to take Edge if you see him at the package, right? He's required. You don't really you can't say no. I mean, you could, but I think it's a really poor decision ultimately. Because then you're really risking it all, especially because again now look at Infinious. He's just rushing ordeals now to get Cecil online, for free. This is real easy now all of a sudden, right? So you gave up 3 minutes, but you're gambling on the fact that you're gonna get it back. Plus, it's an objective.
Yeah, even with lower tier weapons that he's got, because he hasn't done Fabul yet, you're still it's Edge. He just does so much, and there's a Thunderclaw to boot too. Can we see ourselves in Odin here, just to make things even more fun? So we have no law, but there is and it comes with a boomerang attached too. Are you serious?
The dream is real. Boomerang attached. Gonna go with Mutant Assassin. Had a bandana from the top of Hobbs, the one chest. So we've got some gear here. Plus he's already got the back row glitch, which is great. You're gonna go and try and promote your Cecil now, which is gonna be great. Maybe you get half of your forge here, and you can equip Cecil with the Legend Sword and meme it up a little bit.
This is true, and Shocker not punished at all. Gets himself an exit mage here, so you can go save, loot a couple of chests until your heart's content, and then just exit right on out. So Tele here, great. You got your great utility, you got your great anchor, and then with the Cecil as well, you're just like, okay, once I'm done here, we are 100% running up this ordeals, which starts off with a free fight in the Water Hag in a very low power spot. So you would rather see Water Hag maybe on the other side, but still very solid thing to find.
Yeah, is this the worst place in the game to find Water Hag? Possibly.
I'll still say one of the more worst spots would probably be the Tower Key, where a spot that you can just, and one hit and gone is now 3 hits guaranteed. Maybe Alt Gauntlet there too.
Yep, GoldenShocker gonna add on a Ogre Axe to his inventory at this point in time to go with a Blizzard Spear as well. So Blizzard Spears for both runners. One was located on Ordeals for Infinious. So the weapons, they are a-flowing right now. He even got Artemis arrows here in case of a dragon boss. You can put on that archer bow and those Artemis arrows, and you can go to town.
Absolutely, and all of those mute daggers we've seen are going to be put to great use here. Yeah, look at that Edge pop out 2k damage on this Asura. Yeah, not going to be very much long for the world here. Is doing one of the favorite things I like seeing is the life lock here. Where if Asura casts a spell and then you hit her again, she locks herself into the spell that she previously cast.
GoldenShocker did find that lightsabers are for sale, but they are 66k. I mean, potentially though, you could sell your whole inventory for a holy sword for your holy man here. That's kind of a possibility.
True. Alternatively, you could also spend around the same money for a single ninja blade for that Edge, just to push him completely as your heavy damage dealer here and lean into him, and use maybe that slumber sword, that dwarf axe, Hopefully find something for Cecil. Like we're almost not quite guaranteed, but there's a very high shot we are going to find an Excalibur somewhere between either our forge or just one of the drops. Um, there's a good shot that you kind of like ignore that lightsaber and just say, Cecil will find something somewhere pretty. Unfortunately, the pretty thing here is for Rydia, whammy in the sense of Bahamut, but we do get ourselves a Paladin.
Also, neither runner has showed us what is in the Init Baron here. If it's Rydia, it could be Bahamut party time.
This is true. Rydia has lost a lot of the early game experience, which is unfortunate. And with GoldenShocker also getting that Tele, though, that does mean that Rydia is not bound to anchor duty at this point.
But Bahamut party time. Oh, it's exactly. Wyvern in. Why is Wyvern here? What are you doing here?
Wow, this is a fight this is a boss you really don't want to see here. You're like, oh, there's nothing here is really that scary. Wyvern says, sorry, what were you saying? One of the two bosses you see here that you just do not want to see, other one really being Golbez.
I mean, it's slow enough that it's not really a concern. Kane gets off the Star Veil, like, comfortably, so not a worry, though. And the Reflected Mega Nuke, even though it does only 1,000 damage, is more than enough to have Wyvern drop, so... probably one of the better places to see Wyvern in the game if you're at all ready for it.
Absolutely. And yeah, the spot here normally only has, we'll through what we have here with our flags of free bosses, has about, what, 600-ish HP? Whereas Vanilla, I think it's, what, 32,000 if you were to try and beat down Cecil?
In the vanilla US version, Cecil has about 1,000 hit points. In the speedrun, you kill him with 3 Dancing Dagger shots, 2 if you're lucky.
Oh, could be hope for some good rolls, but Infinious, on the other hand, looks like he may be hoping for some Baron in action, maybe, possibly. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a good look at another character check.
Yeah, party's looking a little different here because Tela was located at the bottom of the hook route for GoldenShocker. While Infinious has been riding the power of Edge, because Edge is a good character who does good things and does good damage. Speaking of speedrun strats, Infinious does put a Dancing Dagger on Cecil.
Absolutely. It's Let's Paladin time. I do enjoy the vanilla strats in the sense that, again, Dancing Dagger, good damage. The only way Cecil's going to be doing, speaking of Golbez and a Rosa, is this kind of vanilla that Golbez is holding Rosa hostage?
That's a stretch, friend. Now you're stretching it. We'll work on it.
I mean, you got to get up and stretch every once in a while. Can't spend too much time in your seat, so I'll take that.
It looks like GoldenShocker, unfortunately, though, has lost the life lock here, and there's a Cure 3 from Asura, and the magic power in this spot is enough that Cure 3 is going to be extensive amount of healing. So, yeah, this is not going super smoothly. If you're not feeling it on this fight, and a lot of the time I know I'm not feeling it with lower DPS on this fight, you can just throw 2 Star Veils on the same character. The first one will give you wall on your character, and then the second one will end up walling Asura because it'll bounce off, and then Asura cannot heal herself anymore, so that can be a pretty good way to save yourself.
Yeah, but with those, I believe, 2 starting Star Veils in that kit, if you use them all there and then come into the fight that we know is right after Asura, again, that's just the hindsight that we know 100% here, that could be a very, very bad time for GoldenShocker's side. But is brute forcing his way through, doesn't life block. That is a nice chonky lit too for 1,000 damage. And Asura crumbles. At the same time, we have a Golbez disappearing with just Edge and Kane up, but that's really all you need. Oh, do you want dialogue? Here's more dialogue.
It's a time for Dr. Cutscenes because we're here for some cutscenes, I guess. Yeah, it's the good doctor and the big Thunderclaw. Gonna break it out. Gonna swap for the Assassin Dagger and instantly kill Balnab here. Oops. This spot has about 4,000 health, but it's split between all of the boss forms here, so, about 1,000 damage to each, and you'll have no problem getting on out of here, so...
Yeah, especially in a spot that has some scary physical stats that could hit real hard. However, magic stat, not so much. A couple of double taps and Infinious gets through, gets himself a white mage. Unfortunately, doesn't have the bow and the heroin robe to go with it, but I'll take some Hanzo Steel.
Hey, do you have Edge? Because if you've got Edge, I heard a Moth's Mune is a really good weapon.
Yeah, and the really unfortunate thing is going to be however long GoldenShocker sleeps on that package and Mist Dragon check. If he say goes and does this Baron check and then kind of forgets about it or does not do it, that's just going to put him further and further behind in the DPS race. Which, I mean, he's got a good squad to be DPS racing with, but Edge is just a whole different level of DPS, as we obviously know and can see very clearly.
Yeah, Infinious, of course, does not have his underground access yet, so immediately flies to Fabul, knowing it's the last thing he needs to do. So Fate Fabul fails him today, but that's okay because, I guess this Edge is pretty geared.
I mean, he's just gonna one hit pretty much anything on the overworld now, and really probably about 3 hit most things that we're gonna see in the underground. And with these charm arrows that were found too on Infinious' side, with this Rosa, you can take any of the trap chests on in Evelyn if you're kind of like, let's get Rosa some XP, get her to Berserk, just to make this underground run that much easier.
I mean, of note, Bacchus wines were for sale as well in the Ablana shop. So if you want Berserk, you can buy a white mage today. At least that particular portion of it. Kaipo also had Cure 3s, so
Alternatively, and I know a lot of people forget about this because they kind of just run through and gotta go fast. If you do the trap chest inside Upper Babel and kill off 3 of those ogres and leave one alive, you could steal Bacchus wine from them. We always say, oh, Edge is so good because he can steal sirens. Everybody kind of forgets, oh, right, there are things right there that you can steal as well off of other mobs.
Yeah, true. And it looks like that Samurai Bow is going to get some use here. As GoldenShocker's going to put that and the Artemis arrows onto Cecil. That's still 113 attack power and very good accuracy on that Artemis Bow already. So, yeah, it's good times there.
Yeah, that may not be Crystal Sword or Excal levels of damage, but that's pretty darn close considering what he has versus Infinious as Cecil. And Infinious also gets himself his hook, says, all right, fine, let's go raise me a hovercraft and go see who's here. The real interesting question is going to be is if he's going to add this Teller to his party, because we've got a Quack Kid, Rosa, Edge, Kane, Cecil. So that's his squad right now. Very solid. Do you replace somebody with that Tella, or do you just let Tella go by the wayside here?
I mean, the only character you could realistically replace here, I suspect, would be Quake Kid. Like, you could replace Palom for the anchor plus like mid-game utility. That's a possibility here. Certainly, you could just keep the single white mage comp, knowing that you're going to get Bacchus wines anyway. Which then means that you don't have a need for a second white mage, honestly. So you can just ditch Tella, keep Palom for utility, for Quake potentially to get you through like Dork Castle. Get you through any AoE bosses that are still on the table. So both options are viable. I suspect that we're gonna see. We're gonna see Tella get absolutely disintegrated here on GoldenShocker's side. Ouch! GoldenShocker did have got 50-50 by Golbez. Tried to put up a Star Veil with Cecil and just died.
Yeah, can we talk about, the magic stat that's actually there? So everyone's like, that spot is like, oh, it's such a free fight, an absolutely free fight. And you're right, under normal circumstances, that is a very free location. However, if you cut your party size in half, have a fast boss, who uses magic, and a stat where that magic is actually really high, you get to see the results of what happened over there. Lit 3 is still Lit 3 no matter where you are in the overworld. I've seen it hit for upwards of about 1,000 in some of the early spots. It's not nice.
Yeah, it's a little tough here, certainly. Like, you could try to fire off like a fast virus with Palom potentially instead of throwing up a Star Veil. And just try and get the kill if Palom survives here. But, without any setup, like, that's kind of problematic. But there is a Crystal Ring, and the Crystal Ring on Kane means that he's going to avoid the paralysis effect here and can potentially jump out of the way. Infinious had 67,000 gold remaining, and you know what he spent 66,000 gold on just now?
Was that a lightsaber that was purchased on his side?
He absolutely did just buy a lightsaber.
So I love that for a couple of reasons. One, as we were talking about, it's not quite end game weapon, but it's as close as you can get in some runs. If you don't know about the Excalibur, or if you don't go for the Crystal Sword. Additionally, as we were talking, It's the holy element, which some enemies are still super weak to. We've seen one of the three bosses that are resistant to it in the form of D-Mist. We still have Octomom, and we still have another boss in Pale Dim who are resistant to the holy elemental. So it plus 5 strength and everything else gonna be pretty solid.
I think the big thing that's really important here is we talk about assured damage, right? Um, if you have a lightsaber equipped to Cecil, that's assured damage right now when you need it, right? You have a Cecil who can power through, and you have an Edge who can do a lot of damage. So getting through the 20 plus, 20,000 plus HP that awaits you at the end of this route is going to be pretty darn straightforward, comparatively speaking. Um, Oh, hey. Hi, Randomania 2. Hi, friends. You've just come in and joined us watching GoldenShocker and Infinious duel it out for a spot in the brackets. Infinious on a slight lead has the overroad cleared up. Both are runners on the hook route. GoldenShocker does need to find that out by completing Baron in here as well. And we know that Edge, objective number 4, is at the package, which GoldenShocker has yet to check, which Infinious has. We've got a ton of weapons at this point, so this should be a blast.
Yeah, just to give a quick little update on you know what? So that's 66k exp ghoul, a little bit wasted, but does let you get through at least the fight there. We have an upgrade from a lightsaber to an Excalibur. Not quite the burr we're hoping for, but Crystal Sword may come eventually, one day. But on GoldenShocker side, making short work of the first luggage fight and has all 4 people up and ready to put down luggage B2 with these viruses.
Yeah, one virus from the kid does 1,800 damage at this point because levels and gear, and it's a lot of stats at this point. So there's a Masamune. GoldenShocker knows that the hook route awaits. Infinious is going to find this Tella down here and make a decision whether he wants Tella or Quake Kid, or wants to give up one of his 3 berserkers here. Obviously, it would be Kane, but we'll see.
How dare you say no, you're absolutely right. If I was to get rid of anybody who wasn't the Quack Kid, I would get rid of Kane here. I love my boy, but as so many people have said, he does not put out the damage that everyone else does, and everybody's right. He is, of the berserkers, he is the lowest DPS, and we see the thoughts, and yeah, there it goes. Just take his equipment and kind of go. I do agree with keeping this Tella, because again, great anchor, enables great hybrid strats, and lets the Quack Kid kind of just do his thing.
Yeah, especially because at this point we have Cecil with an Excalibur, and we have Edge with a, what is it, Masamune Mute Knife at the least here. Possibly Masamune Ninja Sword if he locates the Ninja Sword later on a pan check. That's pretty good. He's actually using the Assassin Dagger for speed, which is fine too. Options abound. All of them are good. Party is very powerful. GoldenShocker's going to get the news that Edge was here and is probably a little unhappy about fading this check until now.
Yeah, I know that if I was in his shoes, I'd be slightly salty, but it's like, you know what? We're fine. It's okay. We'll just, grab this edge and continue on our way. Whereas Infinious is taking this trap chest here, as I was talking about. He did also find an ogre knife. An ogre axe on his side. So his Cecil could be kind of putting these things down in one tap.
Yeah, I think the problem is right now is that he's just trying to fight the chest here because we don't have any way to stop these. And the fight's not going terribly well at this point in time. It's been a little sketchy, but he does put the mute knife on Edge, and these are mages, so this is what you wanna see.
Oh, especially berserking him now. Yeah, this gonna be not quite a single tap, but still almost right there.
Yeah, the big thing
Edge,
is that
come on.
Edge doesn't have like the strength gear everybody else has. I think he's got a bandana and a karate shirt at least, but he's just not. He's not quite at that point yet where he's putting out spectacular damage, and that's kind of a problem because even though he hit 2 targets, they didn't take enough damage.
Yeah, the ogres here have, I think, roughly 1800 HP, 16 to 1800. I can never remember. Quack Kid goes down. But this is kind of the situation you want to be in with your Cecil, where they're all wounded, and you just want to go and just have them all be covered by Cecil. A really nice thing would be if they had the rune ring on Cecil, but you can't really argue with results here.
I mean, we're not in the process of arguing with results right now. This fight is going nowhere at the moment. Cecil's up though and ready to cover any party member and probably survive a couple of hits, but like unfortunately nothing's happening here right now, and that's a little problematic. This fight is not progressing, and
So
therefore
I also think we may have the mimic glitch on our hand here, because that says that Edge was berserked, but as we can see, he's not doing anything.
yeah, if you berserk a character too soon, i.e. before they take a turn, they can get locked out of taking actions, which of course, as we know, is very bad. However, Tella here is going to finally resolve the size, putting these bad ogres down to a manageable size, and now this fight is all but over.
Yeah, Cecil now only going to be taking 1 damage in these covers as opposed to the upwards of 400-ish he was taking. And Excalibur, it may not have the racial weakness of ogres, but it does have the weakness of, are you weak to holy? No. Sorry, are you resistant to holy? No. You're weak to this.
Yeah, are you resistant to like 160 attack power? It's a lot of attack power.
Yeah, as we see, 1800. That's about what most Cecils would be rocking with an ogre axe if you're going through like the vanilla route around here with more HP and more levels. So it's you got a little bit more strength on some of these weapons here. Missed a life glitch on one, not a big deal. You're still gonna get a chunk of levels, 5 levels plus around for everywhere.
Yeah.
We have Quake on the kit, not 1 level shy. We do see the Toad come out though. You know what? I'll take that though.
Seems okay.
So can we talk about that actual progression? You buy the lightsaber, you find an Excal. You use an Excal to kill ogres. You find yourself a crystal sword. It's just ranking up the weapons now.
Now you use the crystal sword to kill literally everything else. Infinious is able to sort of push through the tough fight there. Ends up being that the toughest fight so far for Infinious this seed has been the Mad Ogre chest, which happens sometimes. And at this point in time with Crystal Sword Cecil and Hanzo Steel on Edge, probably is going to be the hardest fight of this seed for him.
Absolutely. Also, can we talk about the divergence in party as well? GoldenShocker ditches the Tella and keeps that Edge instead. So we have Tella versus Kane here, and the difference in our party members. So I'm kind of excited to see how this hook route's gonna shake out and how it's gonna lead, because we have no real agility manipulation gear right now.
Yep, so GoldenShocker adds on Edge to the party, though, which is great, and also finds the information that the Sand Ruby is an item that you definitely want this seed, because it's probably required. So we are still looking for a total of 5 key items at this point. Twin Harp, we need both halves of the Forge, so Legend Sword and Adamant. We're looking for the Pink Tail at this point, and we could probably use a Sand Ruby, honestly. That'd be pretty great.
Oh, please tell me this is Mylon Zed. Oh no, this is gonna get one tapped by Cecil.
Yeah, like all these other characters are taking turns, and Cecil's like, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. I got this. Don't worry about it. I got this. I got
Why are
this.
you doing it? This is my job. Quad 9. This spot has 6k HP. Cecil, please, come on, man.
All right, as we all know, Cecil has no chill.
Okay, when it comes to Mylon Zed, 0 chill whatsoever with him, which is great. Oh, however, this could be the one boss that can kind of stymie this. If this is Pale Dim here, that's going to be kind of entertaining.
It's Plague. Is it time for a Bacchus? This could be Bacchus Wine damage raceable at this point, which is wild to say because we gotta get through 23,000 hit points right now. Hard to find out.
You've got yourself an Edge with 2 really good weapons. You've got Virus and such on the kid. Rosa could toss on an Archer Bow and just kind of go to town.
Yeah, Rosa targets herself with Berserk. It's on at this point. Looks like GoldenShocker is gonna try and take this chest here with the Stalemen in it. Kane's up in the air. Edge is alive, so I think things are looking pretty good at this point.
Yeah, I think he may have tossed on an Ogre Axe that he found earlier. Stalemen do count as giants, so you've got that there. Does get basically 1 hit on these Stalemen. Very nice. Cecil does go down, unfortunately, but a quick little life up because you can't life glitch the second one. But we do have the Q being mostly jammed from Infinious. Fire 2s and Fire 3s going out. Neat, very decent damage race going on here.
Yeah, gonna have to cast a Virus here just to be sure. Doing about 1,500 damage a swing from Edge and Cecil right now, though. Actually, that was 2,800. I'm a little bad at math.
Rose is helping with that 2100, and GoldenShocker almost straight up exited on that Excalibur though. That would have felt a little bad if I was in his shoes, but gets the Excal. Gonna have an Excal Cecil. Wonder if he's gonna go for the upgrade of the Crystal Sword. That's always the interesting call here. But Infinious does the damage race. The only person who goes down is the one you don't mind going down. Tella dead, everybody else alive and running away as Plague crumbles to the dirt.
So, you think this party's got good DPS?
Yeah, I mean, it's got DPS. It's a thing. Yeah, no, this is what you need. You've got Blink, you've got Berserk on Rosa, you've got Quake on the Kid. There is nothing in this underground that's going to stop you, bar like Ogo Pogo and Pale Dim. In all honesty, aside from that, we've seen two of the rudest bosses out there. We've seen Wyvern, we've seen Golbez, we've seen Dr. Dialogue just for rude lengths. There's kind of nothing scary, really, like aside from a required, which we know is not possible, a required giant with Kainazo. We do see a boss that's very takeable at this point. Those are guards of some form at the top of tower.
Yeah, I mean, and both runners cracking the Bacchus pretty liberally here. Infinious burning off a pair to get through there. We've got 2 burns on GoldenShocker's side, gonna Berserk Kane and Edge here. So it did find the Mad Ogre's chest, and I guess it's gonna probably take this Crystal Sword home with him as his reward in a moment. Keeping good pace. I mean, this is a tough seed so far, but it's gonna get a little bit easier at this point, hopefully.
Yeah, considering Infinious has that edge for longer than what GoldenShocker has, he's not far behind on his heels. Probably about the time for a couple of those checks and just the slower DPS and that one nasty wipe against Golbez. So GoldenShocker routing and fight-wise going very well, whereas Infinious is getting our favorite boss in the game, NPC trolled.
Narrow hallways need a guide.
Ooh, that's normally a fight you'd be like, that's unhappy to see. But again, you have Crystal Sword Cecil, you have Moss Immune Edge, you just don't care. It's like you're going to be a more annoyance than anything else. Her punches will hurt. That's kind of about all you can say about this fight. Yeah, we also have aim as well. I think in this location, let me pull up a lovely guide that the fantastic teacher of Invenerable has created. Here in the spot of the dolls, I think this is the punch spot. Let me double check.
Yeah, Crystal Sword Cecil does 1150 damage a swing.
Yeah, I don't have to look it up anymore. You're good.
Yeah, no, we're good. I think we're good here. Also, we have Edge. We could just throw this lightsaber, which will do like 3,000 damage, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, so Calbrina slot, this is not Ryu Magic Nuker, because this is max magic defense, but this is roughly about 80 defense or evade or something along that, so she will resist a lot of hits, but you're going to be doing more than enough damage that you just don't even need it. Yeah, I'm going to throw the Excalibur now. Boop, 5k, get out.
Did you know that the Dark Command just ignores Volvalis' everything and it just does damage based upon the weapon you throw and Edge's level? Because that's what happened there. So just lets those 2 darts rock. No big deal. It's this is either Elements, which will get absolutely embarrassed by Crystal Sword Cecil, or Rubicant, which will get absolutely embarrassed by Crystal Sword Cecil. However, Sand Ruby, no thanks, don't need it. Not going to take for him. She's going to get the night off, but she gets to go back to the Kaipo bed.
And this is the other spot where you're like, hey, look, I've got a Crystal Sword. Oh, too late. I'm pretty sure Crystal Sword Cecil would have just like single. Never mind, just the old double tap here. Not a lot of HP in this section, so good double tap from Edge and Cecil, and we have ourselves another key item check down. Whereas GoldenShocker gets through that first fight pretty cleanly himself and is going to find out Plague. Let's see. I wonder if his DPS race is going to be as good, but Kane with that Blizzard Spear, the flying element, going to be doing a chunk of damage here.
So yeah, things are going fairly well. We've got GoldenShocker now here on this particular Plague fight. Looks like he's going for standard strats. I believe Cecil's about to kill Palom, if I saw my targeting correctly. Nope, sorry. Rose is about to kill Palom. Gives me a little arrow in the back. And Infinious, did he just get what I think he got?
That is yet another way that we could go and fight Zeromus. That is, in fact, the Darkness Crystal. So that's another character check. That is the entirety of the world now open to Infinious and whatever his power level so desires. With what you have access to here, you kind of have a lot of options. You still have Sheila 1, you still have Feymarch. You don't have the Luca key, unfortunately, so that's gated. You have the top of tower, the keyless tower play. Or you could kind of take this decently DPS team and say, hey, I wonder if maybe we can challenge some fights on the moon.
Wait, we could go to the moon?
I mean, there is this thing coming in May called the Lunar Whale, so, oh no, wait, we're going to get it in about a few minutes here. But Infinious decides, no, I'm not going to raise the Lunar Whale, not going to beat FanFest. Instead, I'm going to go to Feymarch and see what we have here.
Yeah, it looks like, again, it looks like GoldenShocker going for some pretty standard strats here. Cecil zerked up, though. It looks like Edge maybe zerked up as well. Kayn is on 0-0 here, which is really interesting because he is refusing to die, which happens because the actual death needs to get processed by the game system, and if it doesn't get processed, Kayn can just keep jumping. This is kind of great and kind of bad because we do need to get this kill pretty soon, and the damage, though, as we saw from Infinious, with this party is pretty spectacular.
Absolutely. Again, popping out 1,500 viruses, Cecil hitting for a couple of grand, Rosa and Edge hitting for around the same. Again, not much but for the Cryon. Plague is crumbling. Kayn still rocking the zeros, and we have ones across the board elsewhere. Again, underground access, very, very clinical. Two different approaches to this fight, both very standard and really safe. When you think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Damage racing that spot is not normally safe, but when you've got as much gear as this party has already, it's honestly kind of doable.
Yeah, Crystal Sword, Moss Immune, and just even the spear on Kayn, just berserking probably would have been just as good as if it went otherwise. Hey, we have a Thunderclaw. That's an Odin. We heal up Cecil. Nah.
The problem here is that right now with the levels that we have and the armor that we kind of don't have, Odin would probably disintegrate Edge by accident by looking at him funny. And if that happened, the fight would end pretty much instantly. You could take the shot at it, I think. Like, it's doable. Like, you don't heal up your Edge, you heal up your Cecil, put Cecil in the back with the glass mask or with a bunch of heavy armor, and see if he can hold out long enough to get Edge through the fight.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that spot could be doable. You'd just have to be zerking that Edge right off the bat and kind of hoping that you can get through it. But we have yet another Randomania joining us. Welcome, Randomania 1 fans, to the Damage Seed, the Seed. We have ourselves a Crystal Sword Cecil. We have Moss Immune Edge. And we have open world access. So this is just now the most fun part of the scavenger hunt. Which key item chain is going to lead us to what we're looking for tonight?
I don't know. We have an absolute pile of damage at this point, honestly, so...
Yeah, this is now kind of just like rub fighters up against fights and go until we win. But Infinious going to be cashing in that Sheila 1 check. Also, we do have the Baron key that we kind of didn't really touch on from this Feymarch check. So Overworld kind of giving us a couple of little nods here as well. Does Sheila have the goods? Do we go to Baron and check and fully loot that? Kind of everything we need is just looking for a couple of key items and we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this comes down to routing efficiency and avoiding the hubris that is having trillions of damage on your side that can oftentimes bring, which means that the hope is maybe if the moon's in play, then things get real interesting. Sheila 1, is that the goods? Does that qualify? Does that rate?
that does in fact rate as the goods TM. That is a pink tail from Sheila 1. The only way that this could be even better is if this is exactly a Dragoon Spear or another Moss Immune, just to make it so that we have all the damage. Even a Stardust Rod would just mean like, hey, by the way, y'all want some DPS? I'll give you some DPS.
Like
Yeah,
even a white shirt would be glorious here because you've got Rosa, and then you can like skimp on leveling at the end of the game. You can go into like the Zeromus fight at level 42, not even think about it, and just maul Zeromus for fun and profit because Rosa will survive everything.
this is true. This is very true. And white shirts are always a good time. There's also the possibility, as we said in chat by Wudge1, there could be an Avenger here, Avenger Crystal Sword Cecil. That's all you really need with this Rosa. Or even just throw Avenger on the Cane and keep Bacchusing up this, or a Bacchus on the, Dragoon Spear. You don't hate that, unless you're Infinious.
Yeah, Infinious is not exactly a fan of that right now because he did not get that. He did not
That's,
keep Kane.
That's still a very strong dart, though, so you can still throw that around. Not bad. What, 5-ish K damage, depending on, I think?
Yeah, reloading the dart inventory basically, which is just fine at this point. But yeah, it's Baron Key is here. GoldenShocker's gonna probably get it shortly. Finishing off Dwarf Castle, likely to go up above. Infinious is gonna ignore that Octomom and Odin because they both could flex on his party, and instead is probably gonna give us a look, it looks like, at Keyless Tower. He did not find Sirens for sale. There might be a quick dash and grab for Sirens here as well, we'll see.
Absolutely. And remember that one of the bosses that I said that Holy Elemental says, ha ha ha, what do you want to do to me? Octomom is one of those bosses, and that's in a very punchy spot. Unless we find extreme defensive armor for Cecil and want to cheese it that way, that is not a fight that our Crystal Sword Cecil is going to be effective at, which, I mean, I say that, but another levels can change that. Yeah, there's exactly one other fight that we still need to find where he is going to be less than stellar.
Yeah, but we'll see how that plays out. GoldenShocker's party fast enough here to at least get a couple of swings in on Volvolus before the spin starts up. Also does have Kane anyway, so probably is completely unconcerned with it at this point, as, yeah, he's going up.
Yeah, Kane going to the air, going to be changing that phase real quick, and going to just in general be throwing out some great damage. Infinious, we're going to get a look to see who's at the top of this tower. None of these bosses here really are even would be scary. This just has what 18k HP. Aside from that, top of tower is probably one of the most mundane spots. You don't even mind seeing like a wyvern here.
Yeah, but he does have a couple of coffins here, so he's just going to crack them probably for speed at this point. Going to life glitch the top one as well. Just pushing the experience curve here really well, which is actually kind of an important skill to have. You know, when you get these bosses that you can life glitch in these spots, they're actually worth very good experience. It can be very helpful to do this really quickly to get your mages up to speed a lot faster. GoldenShocker through Volvolus, no problem, swinging for the fences with his leveled up gang of bangers here. They all hit real hard. Twin found, Porum for Palom, but Porum is gonna get dismissed pretty quickly here. Gonna grab the charm arrows though.
Yeah, I don't say no to that.
And of course, though, here at the top of the tower, it is time to party. We do have the party rock.
Now the question is, are we going to get a treasury rating this further into
Are you kidding me? No. What are you even thinking? We have a crystal sword. What do we need boxes for?
There could be a power shirt and Zeus gauntlets in there. I want to have my Cecil go complete Burr, not just like Burr with smaller B.
Never gonna happen. Be the hero, Infinious. Fate that treasury. Do it for Invenerable. Do it for me.
Yeah, we do see the red right hand going in, going to be getting, and then we're going to get ourselves yet another key item. And Infinious, I'm excited to see if he goes to Baron or to Earth Crystal. That's the real big decision right now. All right, so GoldenShocker back on the overworld, and we're gonna get a look and see where he's gonna head it. Whereas Infinious, doing what I believe is the Earth Crystal now. Yep. We got two characters, two key item checks, and then right into Baron afterwards. This is probably the most efficient routing we've got from everything.
Yeah, good at taking advantage of the fact that the end of Zot drops you off at the front of Baron Castle and then can just work through Baron Castle right afterwards. GoldenShocker is going to finish the Sheila 1 check and get the pink tail at this point.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, especially if he goes and turns this in, knowing that's Dragoon Spear. That's a couple of... Oh, hey, look, we got a nice little first scooping help of Vanilla. That's Vanilla Magus Sisters here with all the lovely mage killer stuff we've got. But yeah, seeing this Dragoon Spear going to be popping up on GoldenShocker's side, I 100% do not blame him for taking that and just going, yep, damage time.
Yeah, I mean, having Kane's best weapon, one of Edge's best weapons, and Cecil's best weapon. Everyone's got a good weapon at this point if you're not a mage.
I mean, they're getting their best weapons, which is technically levels. But yeah, and interesting thing, we do see a bit of routing divergence too. GoldenShocker doesn't have that party rock. He didn't do top of tower. Is doing a straight dive into Baron. I actually really like this because we're gonna get that nice divergence. 2 key item checks, 2 boss checks, even though we kind of are not on a boss hunt anymore. Could in theory find the entirety of Forge right here.
Yeah, like the big thing with this right now is if this doesn't pay for Infinious with anything, this is just a loss of time doing Keyless Tower and Tower of Zot. This could get GoldenShocker back into this race. He's been trailing by about 3 minutes to 5 minutes the entire time. Because he didn't get that edge early and it took a little bit out of his overworld. But, you know, if you didn't throw that Excalibur Infinious, you'd still have an Excalibur right now. You could be rocking double Holy Man, double Holy Sword.
Now, hear me out. I ditched the kid for this, and I keep 100% this other Cecil because, again, yeah, it's exactly what I figured he was going to do, because we do have a decent shot at finding another Excalibur, or even if he didn't find it, there's just a lot of other weapons. I still like this. I still keep this personally, and I agree with Infinious pulling here. You just go lead in fully to the Zerk.
Yeah, might as well just go ham here, I guess. Like, why not? I mean, you've got double Cecil for the moon, because the moon is gonna be potentially on the table for your last key item. You only need either both halves of Forge or just the Twin Harp to finish the seed at this point for both runners.
So, also, if you want to get really, really cheeky, and if you can get very lucky, especially if we find, say, an Avenger right here, right now, maybe, there is the thing of the Avenger glitch, but that works with anything. If you route it properly so that you have Rosa going to berserk the top Cecil, who's got that Crystal Sword, you unequip the Crystal Sword, but you do not take an action. Cecil will be swinging with just his fists, with the power of a Crystal Sword, though. And you can put that other Crystal Sword on your main Cecil. So there is always that possibility, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, certainly. Well, other than second Cecil, which is pretty great for your power level, let's see if we have anything good here. I think that could be pretty good.
The chain continues. Opens up 2 more key item checks. We go back down and see your favorite people. And we're also getting more checks and more options here. GoldenShocker finds himself the Paunch Mage himself in Yang. And we're going to get to look to see what the key item here in Baron is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Twin Harp, then everything Infinious is doing is going to be real interesting. I mean, unless it's both halves of Forge, it could be a little troublesome. Thing is that Infinious will be shortly behind GoldenShocker and Baron then at that point, most likely. But again, this could be this if this is Harp for GoldenShocker, this is all just lost time for Infinious, right? This is all just time that he's given up to the randomizer to get randomizered pretty hard on stream. So we'll see if this pays out or not, though.
So the only way I think that this actually pays out for Infinious is if this is exactly so. If let's play the assumption game here. Uh, we have GoldenShocker gets Harp here. Infinious gets both halves of the X-Cal Forge. That is the only thing I think that that would bail him out. We just see the Assassin Dagger, so there's that. Defense Sword, okay, not an X-Cal, but I mean, now your Zessel has a decent weapon, so not fully punished for committing to this, but half of it, not so bad.
Yeah, and it was just an assassin dagger in Baron upper, so the king of Baron has a whole lot of nothing. The trash can actually full of trash for once. So I guess we're gonna see what's down here at the Odin spot for GoldenShocker. We're gonna see what Sheila 2 has for Infinious now that he's gotta get rid of this piece of cast iron because the fairies don't like it. GoldenShocker finds some dancing dolls down here, so a doable boss for sure. Still has Quake Kid, has a bunch of heavy hitters, so should be just fine.
Yeah, you get a nice Quake off, you get a good hit, you have your Berserker start up for the back. Yeah, this is exactly how you roll it here. Get a Quake, and then we see exactly what Sheila 2 has. Oof, not the crystal you want to see, just a crystal ring. Yeah, I take that reset. You don't need a crystal ring.
So tower, top of Keyless Tower, 2 Zot, to the pan, to 2 checks, all blank, nothing doing. That's all time that Infinious is just cashed out for nothing. And if I were Infinious, I think I'd be stressing out a little bit right now.
Yeah, 100%. And as we see in chat, kind of reminding us, and even our lovely tracker, Commander Leanhart's pointing out, he reset out of that defense sword too. So all 100% time lost, no gain even for a weapon. GoldenShocker, though, has a little bit of gain. We have a rat tail, so he's not fully out of this yet. There's a possibility that this rat tail has something, or this could be yet another blank and yet another fetch quest that fetches us nothing but a time loss.
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind, Infinious does not have the ability to shake, bake, and quake that particular boss at this point in time. No black mage in the party other than Tella. Could be bad. That could be a little scary at that point. Don't have hourglasses either, so is going to have to be a little bit more judicious with how he handles the fight and casting stop with Tella and like DPSing the dolls accurately. That could be a little difficult.
Absolutely. And the real scary thing here now afterwards is what a lot of this other place goes to. GoldenShocker, though, taking another little trip, we're going to get ourselves some more Bacchus wines before he heads to maybe the moon. Or does he start heading, say, underground, do some of the checks that Infinious is treaded ground over? Or does he get cheeky and maybe takes one of these fights that's in Feymarch? That's a real spicy call.
There's 6 bosses on the moon with 7 key items between them.
Yeah, and it's a lot of different options going out here. I mean, are you fully confident in the DPS that you have? If the answer is yes, then I would actually be heading to the moon because it's probably the safest and the most the numbers games where you start playing it there is kind of about it.
Yeah, our tracker, Commander Leonhardt, also mentioning that GoldenShocker could just go check Keyless Tower after the Rat Tail if the Rat Tail isn't the business and just give back all of this time.
This is true. We could have absolutely nothing, 100%. However, the real important thing here is what this rat tail holds. If this holds something, then yeah, GoldenShocker definitely gets a nice bit of a lead, but also does a little bit of neat routing and trades the pink tail and rat tail away at the same time. So the chains continue.
Key to the sealed cave. Key to the sealed cave. You can at least see what the item is before you leave. So if it's like a magma key, you can just mash that reset button. Vitasia in chat is mentioning though that in terms of key items, Infinious has gotten an extra couple of key items from those particular checks. Did get the pan, did get the earth crystal, so is up on key items, which could mean that getting to 10 might be the thing. And GoldenShocker is about to give back all of that time because he is in front of Keyless Tower, and is about to head on up to the top. Which is going to net him the party rock and a chain through Zot, and after the chain through Zot is going to net him a pan that's a chain through the pan that's going to get him a defense sword, and a crystal ring.
Yeah, the only real nice thing again is getting this rat tail turn in for Infinious, which is going to get him caught up, and again back and forth. So while we have our runners kind of treading the same ground, I want to give actually a really huge shout out to a couple of people who are doing the real hard work behind the scenes. We have our tracker Commander Leonhardt and our restreamer Alicel, who's rolled this lovely seed. The two of them, they get to do all the hard work, so that Demi, you and I get to kind of just like sit here and relax. Really, they're putting in on the hard work, and we just get to do our lovely blab.
Yeah, also follow the runners because they're both really rad. I know Infinious streams around the same time I do, so I never get to see him stream because he's in Australia and I stream in the mornings. So, he's great. GoldenShocker's great. You should definitely check out both of these runners as well, and definitely give them both a follow.
100%. And also give a follow again to Demarine too. My co-commentator, kind of keeping me in line with my shenanigans. That's what happens when you have an admin co-commentating. You don't want to step out of line, or else they may be solo commentating, and I'm out of here.
Look, I have never had to do that before, and I don't suspect it's gonna have to start. So, we're just gonna maintain the chill in this particular room at this point in time. Coffin's off for GoldenShocker, gonna mop up the top of the tower in an instant here. Blink of an eye, 26,000 experience points. Grimoire out for Infinious, and that's who you want to see. It's Titan. It doesn't do enough damage to the back row though, so gonna need to get a couple swings in here to finish the job before the giant doll shows up. Or not.
Oof, unfortunately, no. And Rosa, unfortunately, just rocking that staff. The 21 damage bonk is not quite enough. However, the physical attack power you see here, oh no, I was going to say, nothing really to scoff at, so Cecil's going to be able to cover, but now that Rosa's kind of in danger.
Oh, here's the glance, and that's going to charm Cecil. Does get one more swing on Calbrena, so now we're counting on Edge to do the job before Cecil decides to be a white mage instead of offing his party members, thankfully.
And Rosa bonks the wrong person. So we talk and we laugh about stuff like this, but the thing is you get to points here, like especially in a do or die race where these guys are. I always wonder if you cast Peep or Libra on one of your party members. Never mind. If that would means like, hey, the boss says you have no HP, I'm gonna boop you in the snoot. But fortunately, I guess for Infinious, it doesn't have that problem. Instead, gets the rat tail, gets some XP on 3 of his people, and we're gonna have him follow that Shane maybe.
Yeah, we're no problem though. Ultimately, Calcabrena ends up booping Cecil in the back of the head before he can decide to start removing his teammates from the game immediately with the Crystal Sword forever.
Yeah, it could have been very, very scary, especially if that Cecil had decided he wanted to hit anybody on his team. If he had hit Edge first, that would have been all done but the Cryon. This is where normally Board AI would say, sorry, you're out of here. Thankfully, Board AI is like, no, we're going to be a little nice. Here's the Libra, here's a Cure, and we're going to go there. Infinious turning the Rat Tail, whereas GoldenShocker is going to continue to follow that Luca key, committing to this underground.
Yeah, ends up not following the Earth Crystal that he got from the top of the tower and just decides to come back for the Luca key. So an interesting decision, certainly, in terms of how he's routing this at this point.
Yeah, and the only difference between the runners right now is a single key item. We have Infinious at 9 and GoldenShocker at 8. Also, GoldenShocker doing what every runner has done, and I don't know who you are. I do that all the time. I hit that one rope, and it's an accidental down where you don't want to go there. And Infinious looked like he was about to go to Tamara. I think may have remembered that there are no sirens here in the seed, and is going to be following on GoldenShocker's footsteps, who is, again, in the lead, I think, routing-wise maybe, but definitely not in the lead key item-wise. Like, especially if we see, like, a 9 key item moon check and then nothing there, really, until some of the other bosses. Infinious could pull away with the extra levels thanks to that 10 key items, if we find one here.
Yeah, we could also see a 9 versus 10 key item sort of situation here as well, which would be obviously very advantageous for Infinious. I guess both our runners do need to take this out, though.
Ooh. Well, and here's the 9 versus 10 key items we're talking about here. Especially if this is, say, the alt gauntlet, this could be a very cheeky grind for Infinious to find here.
A bunch of enemies did show up on the screen, but it is just Mylan and Pals. Not the scariest fight to see here, certainly. I mean, Mylan's lit ones are going to sting a fair bit, and that's really about the extent of it at this point. So it shouldn't be too concerning here. Crystal Sword Cecil, while regular Mylon is not weak to the Holy Elemental, still is gonna get pasted by that Crystal Sword, honestly.
So you say that the lit ones are going to hurt here a little bit. Why is that? It's just lit one. It shouldn't be doing a whole bunch of damage like in the first place.
Yeah, but look, they're doing 1 damage to Palom. Doesn't that sting a little bit?
I mean, my time wasted stings.
Yeah, no, it's really funny seeing like Leviathan in the spot and Leviathan just not doing terribly much with those Ice 2s.
Yeah, unfortunately, the magic damage is kind of low. This is a spot where you only really get the crush phase coming through the evil wall. That's the only magic you see. So not a lot. Quake Kid taking care of mopping up the ads so that we can just have a Berserkers hit the one dude, our lovely Mylon, who will not be long for this world with 2k hits from Edge and Cecil.
Yeah, by the way, this spot does actually have real magic damage. It's just that Palom has such gearing on him that he just doesn't take damage from spells. Cecil, who has a bunch of fighter gear, took 300 damage.
Yeah, from a lit one. The magic stat is pretty high here because, again, they need that crush to hit so that it can, in fact, kill you there.
Yeah, it's hilarious when you fight like Rubicant in this spot. You swing at Rubicant, and Rubicant fires back with a Fire 2 that does like 700 damage to your entire party, and you're just sitting there scratching your head going, this is terrifying.
Yeah, that ain't right. I think the only other place where tier 2 spells are scary is the Ogopogo spot. That's where you can get a really nasty set of Maga Sisters. But GoldenShocker gets through it, gets the Oh My Body skip too, so saving a little bit of time, and is in fact taking this out. Does remember he has Warp on the kid. There is no exiting from Luca Cave because you have to watch that cutscene at the end where Kane, he just liberates something from you. He doesn't betray you in the least. He's such a great character. Everybody hating on my boy.
I've been hating on your boy all season at this point.
Look, everybody hates on him. Everyone says he betrays. He was just making it so that you didn't have Zoromas and Golbez come and beat you up to take the crystal. He's saving you. He's actually was just helping everybody in the long run. Nobody sees it. That's all that really matters. Speaking of all that matters, Infinious also through this fight does thankfully have a warp caster in the way of Telev, or else this would have been a very, very long walkout.
I don't even know how to do this walkout. It's terrifying. It's like I get lost walking backwards through dungeons.
I will say this, and it's entertaining, and I've gotten lost too. Watching people walk out backwards from the lunar subterrane when you don't have an exit caster may be my favorite thing, because people are like, how do I walk this dungeon? Even I do it all the time. It's like, wait, this is the wrong room. But we do see GoldenShocker treading some ground again that Infinious has done. We thought maybe he'd skip on Party Rock, but in fact is going to go and grab the Party Rock. The question is, I don't think he's thrown the X-Cal. Does he take the second Cecil? That's the real question.
He could be rocking the double Holy Sword Dream. I don't think you keep Kane here realistically. I mean, Kane does give you the ability to use that Dragoon Spear to grind. Is the only thing. You could do Gold Dragons real fast with Kane with a Dragoon Spear. On the flip side of the coin, double Holy Sword Cecil.
Yeah, 2 Cecils, one with an X-Cal, one with a Crystal Sword. If you find an Avenger somewhere, you're kind of laughing. But yeah, 2 Cecils and a Rosa, that's kind of all she wrote for Zoromas, especially with all the Bacchus wines we've seen.
Yeah, Infinious is not even going to skip the Feymarch. Is going to do the 2 Feymarch bosses before even considering a dip up on the moon here. Figuring, I guess, with the pass and everything that if it's here, right? You just need 1 key item to finish the seed.
And this is, again, really spicy. The first boss, not really that scary by comparison in the sense of Odin. The really scary fight here is going to be that Octomom. Again, Cecil with enough armor, not going to be bad, but is healing up the entire party. So those punches are going to be hitting everybody, and it's going to be kind of going to tickle a little bit.
I think the big counterpoint for that is that once you get a couple of swings on Octomom, as long as you get through that early part of the fight, you get a blink or 2 up, and you get the swinging going. The major thing is that Octomom starts getting real slow, which gives you plenty of time to like recover the fight, which can be really, really important. Yeah, looking
Yeah,
for better weapons. You don't have better weapons, Infinious. It's fine. It's a Moss Immune and a Mute Knife. You do real damage. It's cool.
you have like everything you could really want for an edge with these flags. It's not bad. But yeah, speaking of the flag, like we're seeing some of the different weapons we're seeing on some of these characters. The Sea Neki flag means edge goes from like a really high priority find to on his own very medium, to be completely honest, because as we saw he came with a boomerang, so like without some of the other stuff we found it'd be like, okay, boomerang edge, that's nice. Instead the seed's like, hey, you want some of these swords? I got all these ninja swords.
Okay, Odin's flexing, but not flexing too hard. It is the Asura spot, not Leviathan spot, thankfully. Um, so does have the Berserks up here. Second Cecil still has, I believe that's a silver staff. That's not a real weapon. That's kind of unfortunate that he's got the wrong piece of gear equipped here.
Oh, are we gonna see it? We see it. And there's the Avenger glitch in action there too. As I said, Cecil doesn't change his or Berserk glitch, I guess, in here. Cecil does not change his weapons or take an action, and we are going to get a swing of Crystal Sword damage with a Mute Knife animation.
I mean, the problem here is that time is running out. Like, setting up that glitch and doing all of that, while great, because he had the bad turn order, time is running out, and Odin might obliterate his party before it's too late.
I think the amount of damage we got going out, yeah, no time. Damn, you raced that damage. Yet another DPS race that he just puts a clinic on in that aspect. Infinious, guys, get a little bit of a shout out for that. That was a scary time. That could have been very bad. Only rewarded with yet another Dragoon Spear. Doesn't care about the XP, just says, you know what? I don't want this.
Darts. Wait, hang on. I mean, actually, that's exactly what it is at this point.
Every key check.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you set me up for that. I love that. But we do have the point where we get to throw your hands up in the air and just wave them like you don't care. And Octomom has got 8 of them to be doing so. We do have a good couple of swings. I'm hoping we see that. Yeah, hey, remember that punch we were talking about? This is where it happens.
Yeah, Rosa gets hit for her entire health pool and a little bit more.
Acro Cecil just is like, no thank you.
Yeah. Edge just got hit for quad 2s. That's interesting.
What's also interesting is look at how many life potions that Infinious has left.
Didn't do a lot of shopping. Neither are runners shopped very heavily in this seed, and that does mean that we are a little low on the resources here. GoldenShocker is going to get his hands on the pan and is going to probably go turn that in right now and get a defense sword. That's really about it. Edge is up. Cecil's blinked in the back row here, but gets plugged for 882. And Octomom is going to finish. Seafood soup is on the menu, but not for him.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely call the ambulance, but not for him right there. That's a point where you look at all the gear you have and you say, do I have defensive stuff? Also, just saying, you know what would actually have been really good there? A defense sword to help with the defense stats we got going on. But Infinious says, you know what? We're gonna take this again and gonna do the fight. I do think and I do agree with this slowing down the battle speed 3. Just because we gotta go fast does not mean you have to stay on BS1 the entire time, or just go to BS6 for Wyvern standard time for the Wyvern fight. Lower battle speeds allow you to put more inputs in before the bosses get their actions in, and with the fact that this Octomom is getting so many turns in, you just want to slow it right down, which is why even that 200 damage bonk, so useful.
Yeah, trying to get everything sort of stabilized pretty quickly here. So there's going to be two tentacles down at this point in time. Spot's still fairly fast at this point, and of course it doesn't change the physical stats at this spot. Is that Octomom can still remove a party member in the front row from combat basically instantly. But as you can see, the action has slowed down immensely already. Edge is going off at this point in time, but still, Rose is just dead. Rose just took 2,200 damage.
Yeah, that Rose is one of the ones I think was your highest priority to get this blink off on. But again, we'll get the raise up and we'll have the Cecils jump in front of her and get down Miss President and make it so that she can get these blinks back up. But again, this is the spot where we see Edge's DPS completely outshine this Crystal Sword Cecil. He's only hitting 1300, where Edge is popping off 2100 damage. The Holy Resistance, a big factor here.
Yeah, also keeping both Cecils around to cover so they can both, it's based on who has the higher hit points right now. So right now the front Cecil would cover, which is not really what you want to see, but if you parry with the front Cecil, then the back Cecil would take over. Because it's programmed that way, because Board did a really good job programming that. I remember asking about that way back in the day. When duplicate characters were added to Free Enterprise. But yeah, fight stabilized now. The speed is fine. Berserkers look at Battle Speed 3 and go, yeah, this is fine. And Edge is just going to finish this up real quick.
Yeah, Vatasia also in chat making a comment where if you have a Moonveil, you burn that on the back row Cecil, and then you just let him cover everybody, because the barrier status is as OP as you think it really is. Makes it so that you can't be hit by physical hits. But speaking of physical hits, Infinious beats it down, gets through this fight. Seriously, that is very good bit of heads up. The unfortunate thing here is he rewarded, though. Technically, he's rewarded. That's an objective, but
no. But we already have Porum. Yeah. It does not matter. Feymarch, Haunted, Moon, required. You only need to get one of the two items off the moon, either the harp or the adamant rock. But GoldenShocker's raised in the whale right now. Hey, Dathis, we're going to the moon.
Bang, zoom, straight to it?
I mean, the cutscene's like 2 minutes long, so not really. It's more like put, 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 put for about a minute and a half. It's fine. Engine takes a while to warm up.
Look, it's a huge distance away. You can't just like get there and teleport. We don't have that technology yet. Give it a couple of months, and 14 will let us teleport around to the moon. But in GoldenShocker, going to check one of the last bastions of hope. Do we have sirens, or are we going to have to go and steal them, or just rely on the possibility of boss XP?
Or turning on random encounters. There's just hourglasses. Maybe it's time to do behemoths. I don't know. Both runners on 10 key items at this point, so the 10 key item problem has not come to pass. But yeah, hourglasses and random encounters. We have no sirens. Neither runner decided to steal them. Like I said, I love doing, there's two behemoths on the third floor of Bahamut Cave and one on the second. You could do those. They're worth over 100,000 apiece once you have 10 key items. Options certainly abound. Infinious is like, yo, I need life potions. I done run out. Finds them here. So, restocks with 20. Good on him to remember that he was out of inventory.
Yeah, so again, I think that was a very rude reminder on that. Octomomry's like, huh, well, that's unfortunate. But yeah, GoldenShocker takes a big rest in the big whale and is going to be walking around. I love the top-down approach. I love checking out cape value first. It's so out of the way that everyone looks and goes, well, let's do this later. We don't need to do it now. Whereas Infinious is making me eat my words and says, no, we're going to go here right now.
I mean, I always like going here right now. Again, I like picking up my first bit of experience here with either Sirens or Behemoths. They're both great. That's a Lunar Sparkle. That's either what, D-Lunars or Paledem?
D-Lunars, Ogopogo, or Paledem?
At least it's not Ogopogo. Ogopogo's brutal in this spot, but GoldenShocker is going to zerk up the troops here. Going to get his Cecils up and running. Positives, Crystal Sword Cecil and Excalibur Cecil do quad damage to these. Negatives, we are going to start seeing virus counters soon.
And also you said, oh, Ogopogo here is not what you want to see. You also really don't want to see anything that is physical punchier, period. Because as we see, yeah. Cecils, come on, get your act together. Hitting the same. That was 1,700 damage.
Oh.
What?
Oh, right, only Crystal Sword. These are not technically Holy Weak, they're undead. So they don't take quad damage from the Excalibur. The interesting thing about doing this with Berserkers is you notice this spot is the Bahamut spot. The actual magic output of the spot, not that strong. So taking advantage of that, both our runners are swinging away with Crystal Sword Cecil because they can. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, double tap from both Cecils, who are the only two that are alive at the current moment, may I add. Because when one dies, you have the fire counters that just come out and there's nothing. But that is value. Shocker in go mode first, and we have Infinious right behind him. Fellow Randomania fans or random fans of Free Enterprise, we have ourselves a race.
There is one problem though.
What's that?
GoldenShocker forgot one thing.
Oh, yep. Second from the left on the top of that tracker. GoldenShocker has not done the pass check that Infinious does in that D-Mist that we got way back in Antlion that he actually did, I think, right after he did the bosses in or the boss on top of Hobbs. So maybe he's hoping for it here. I know he definitely forgot because he checked the package and kind of ran afterwards.
Yeah, that's even with GoldenShocker getting here first is ahead by the flight back. The problem is both runners need to grind. That's the only other interesting thing here is how much experience do our runners want to pick up? Do they want to go steal sirens? Do they want to do, does GoldenShocker just decide to turn on encounters on the moon and use hourglasses? Right? How do our runners decide to get levels here without sirens? And how do they decide to finish this seed at this point? Because while we're Zeromus ready in terms of items now, are we Zeromus ready in terms of levels? It's a little dicey.
If you're really, really like on your nerfing game and you're super ready, these are Z levels. You are really, really pushing it and hoping you don't get a counter nuke on your Rosa. But this is kind of what you can take Z for, and you got what you need. And as we mentioned, GoldenShocker, he will have the more direct way of grinding. You just take encounters all the way down, and that's how you get your grind.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see how this ends up playing out. I mean, there are Cure 3 Xenocat. They are out there, but I guess we're going to stop analyzing the possibilities for the end of the seed, and we're going to enjoy the moment with the stylings of the man himself, Shredward.
I guess we can let them enjoy the music as opposed to our voices. And that was Rainbow Road from, I believe, Mario Kart 64. Great track. I do remember taking all those lovely shortcuts there, but GoldenShocker is going to get the tower key from here, so it is not 100% go mode just straight from here. Though tower key could, in theory, have the adamant, but that does give him 4 objectives. That does give him his crystal, and does give him the access to Zeromus.
Cool. We're gonna let the encore rock while we've watched what GoldenShocker decides to do at this point in time. So Infinious is through here. GoldenShocker has decided to go with Siren Theft here, as his grind is here. Finds an alert in an encounter chest and is going to hit that sneak button. Infinious is going to toggle on the crystal now. Has 4 objectives are on the board for him as well. Both runners are in go mode. Both runners do need to figure out how they can get their party up to the levels that they want to finish this seed off.
Yeah, this is where we kind of thought things were going to go. Sirens are a very much premium, and this is what you really want. The only other thing that could have been done is if you didn't want to do a door grind, and if you would or if you didn't want to do the siren grab and grind, and you wanted to be really cheeky about it, you could have done yourself a little door grind. I know you are a very big fan of that, but GoldenShocker grabs, I think those 4 or 5 sirens, and is pretty happy with that.
Yeah, likely going to take them to the top of the moon and do gold dragons real quick with his party. Infinious is headed to the underground as well. So this is a very likely, I'm going to go ahead and do doors? Not even going to steal sirens.
Oh, I'm here for this.
Oh, wow. This is unexpected. I love it. I love it so much.
So here's the question: if Infinious did go with the stealing of the sirens, with the time that he has, what would you rather do? Would you rather go up to the moon, kill some King Ryus, come back down, or do you just grab it, maybe say double the required amount of things and go that way?
So he's gonna go with doors here. He doesn't have wall on Rosa yet. So he can't buffer with Cecil using the Tele Anchor and then go from the buffer to cast wall properly. Or no, he's doing it. His agility is bad. His agility's a little bit off, it looks like, to get that going. I think Rosa might be a little on the slow side, may need a crystal ring just to get back to RA1. Yeah, or other people are saying battle speed 3 assures it as well to get the buffer out.
Yeah, I like doing doors on battle speed 6, but that's because I'm bad and I'm still learning them myself. But yeah, battle speed 1 or battle speed 2 is definitely not where you want to be unless this constantly targets the exact same target, which this door has been targeting just one person this entire time. So we have that battle speed 2 going through. We do have some fights coming out. In all honesty, that top Cecil kind of has enough HP. Does get Cure 4 on Rosa, and a couple of doors is really all he's gonna need.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a ton of experience here. You just need enough, and he's gonna go to Rosa first. The thing is that unbuffered, you actually also cannot cast the wall in time, which is really interesting. It's kind of a weird touchy thing casting wall to get this to work out correctly. Also, turn order's backwards now because, again, agility's a little weird right now.
Yeah, the agility on that Rosa, definitely not what you want to see. Oh wow, we weren't even seeing a silver staff. That was a cure staff that Cecil was punching with earlier on, by the way.
Yep, and it looks like GoldenShocker grabbed an Edward, which was the character at the throne. So adds Edward to his party instead to anchor this group with agility 5.
I mean, we haven't found a crystal ring, a cursed ring, so I don't hate it. But I also remember seeing a Sid on his side at one point. I could have been very crazy. It's been a
there was a
Sid.
There was a Sid with the Sid from the top of Zot with the Dwarf Axe for a little bit in there too. He's just going with all the anchors.
Yeah, I think he got too many levels on that Sid, so he's like, you know what, we're just gonna do it this way. But yeah, also, can we talk about how this trapdoor is doing nothing but targeting that bottom Cecil, like 100% of the time?
Yeah, and the big thing here is that GoldenShocker's only got 2 sirens. That's it. He's gonna pop 2 sirens, 2 hourglasses, get Cure 4 on Rosa, and go. That's it. He is pushing right now. Infinious is turning around, and it looks like, yeah, he is headed for the door. So Infinious looks like he is done picking up levels here, takes out those 2 doors, and he is done as well. I think we got a little bit of a race going here, because once this fight's over, if GoldenShocker needs more experience, he's going to have to turn on encounters. But he's saying 360,000, that's plenty.
Yeah, and to be fair, looking at the HP on his fighters, that is going to be so really solid. The Rosa is going to be very, very close on EXP for HP ratio. I'm excited to see what level she gets up to. If she gets like 6 levels here, she might be okay. 5 levels.
Yeah, plenty.
Life 2, ooh, that's, yeah, I think that's right where you want her to be.
Okay, so GoldenShocker headed down. Infinious headed down. It's all over now. You know what time it is. Dathis, what time is it?
It's about 10:47 Eastern right now.
Correct. Good job.
Yay! Do I get a cookie?
You can have a cookie with vanilla ice cream.
Nice. I love me some vanilla ice cream. But the real question we love to ask, there's a few things we like to randomize between, you know, the palettes that we have the characters on, if you see some of those, between the songs that Edward likes to shred on his lovely harp, to one of the favorite one that is done that has 526 different versions of him at the end of the seed. We have Zoromus. Big Bang is Big Bang no matter where we throw him, so we cannot throw him with his lovely script anywhere else. So we put him here at the end because he's still that big, bad, hard. However, he's not going to look the same in most seeds. There is absolutely only one duplicate sprite out there that is all the lobsters in the world, but we are going to see whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight?
Excellent, and we're going to get into this fight right now. We've got Tella anchoring for Infinious. We've got Edward anchoring for GoldenShocker. With the cutscene, there's about a minute difference right now. Infinious in at 132.45 on our clocks. GoldenShocker just behind. So not even a minute difference here. Crystal throw from Tella. Here we go. It's on now. One fight to determine who makes it to the brackets tonight. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, and we see the HP values. That Rosa very dangerously under the cusp of the HP you want. 1700 doesn't really have even good weapons or anything on her, but is not what you want to see. And we have the queen herself, Miss Beryl here, and we do have ourselves a berserk glitch on Infinious' side. Gonna get both these Cecil's crystal sword up, so we're gonna see 10k around swinging real hard.
Yep, gonna pop some Bacchuses with the edge in the second Cecil here. Tella likely to go for nothing here. I mean, you gotta nerf the first Big Bang. Slow might be the best way to do it. Possibly throw a Thor Rage. Now gonna cast Slow with Rosa here. GoldenShocker gets the fight on the road here. Again, so we've got Infinious doing about 11,000 damage a cycle. The thing is that GoldenShocker doesn't need any sort of gimmicks here. GoldenShocker can just pop the Bacchus wine, pop the Bacchus wine, pop the Bacchus wine, and just get this party started. Because he's got an Excalibur, which is just fine. Doesn't need to time a glitch or anything. And it's really just going to come down to the Zerkers here. It's just going to come down to rolls. Numbers are what matter. Infinious having that slight edge might just be enough here. Big Bang 1 out for Infinious here. It was nerfed by the slow cast. We've got a slow cast from Rosa on GoldenShocker side as well. So both runners going with slow to nerf the first Big Bang. However, Cecil took the nuke for the counter and is down for Infinious here. So he's going to relife the Cecil and try and get him reset, which is going to take 2 turns because, you know, no more Bacchus wine in the back pocket. Rosa takes the nuke for GoldenShocker, which might be the best possible outcome here, honestly. Right? She's not swinging away. There's no recovery required here. Right? You could elixir her here with Edward if you really want, but he's not even going to chance it. He's going to accept the fact that his Rose is going to go down. Q's the Cure 4. Is it on time here? It looks like it may be on time.
Yeah, this is a bit of a scary side on both starting sides. That Cecil going down had the crystal sword, so if we couldn't get him up in a safe time,
Yeah.
and we didn't have the berserk going back on, that could have been real scary. But
And
yeah, last
apparently
berserk.
there
Oof.
was one last wine hiding in Infinious' inventory, so he was okay. It just took a moment to get back and running.
Yeah, both runners have a very, very solid squad on their sides. Amount of damage just being poured out on both sides, and it's really entertaining watching Cecil bonk for 4,200 from the staff. That's the best part about this.
Yep, second shake is out for Infinious here. No second shake for GoldenShocker though. GoldenShocker may have pushed ahead on damage output here. Is going to cast a safety cure 4, but like I've seen so many runners at this point in time, GoldenShocker could probably put the controller down, and he's going to leave it in the hands of fate here. The Zerk team going off. Infinious second big bang hits here. It's not nerfed.
It's scary.
It's okay. Everyone
Hold
survives.
that roll.
Needs to cast this Cure 4 though for safety. You don't want to get big bangs into rocks here because your party could wipe out. That would be really bad at this point in time because we know that that would be an instant loss at this point in time. But
Crack,
one more swing,
bang,
and that's
shake.
that.
Wow, we have Barrelmus going down on Infinious' side. We're getting the official time up there, but he does go to 4-2. That is an incredible run. 136.45. GG's, I see flying out in chat. Keep them going, guys. This was, in fact, a fantastic run. This is what Berserkers can do. This is what happens when you get two Crystal Sword Cecils going to town. One with a fake, one with a staff, but still, this is the damage output that you can see. And look at those HP values. More than enough. Low HP. Who needs safety HP? And look at that. About a minute later, not even, we have GoldenShocker also defeating Barrelmus. More GGs. Come on, guys. Get him out for GoldenShocker as well. Does fall to 3-3. However, nothing to really say about this race. They were both great runners, and we're going to see if we can get them in here either on their own or together. I'm excited to hear about these guys.
21 seconds is the final gap here. I mean, did make up a little bit of time because of needing to recover that Cecil and hit that last wine, but Infinious hangs on tight to a bracket spot, but by the skin of his teeth and possibly a little less.
And we are joined by Infinious, and as we do have Skull Kitty pointing out in chat, it is 21 seconds difference. It is not close enough for them to have to go back and forth with frames. Thankfully, the admins get to rest easily tonight, although that was a very close race. And we are also joined by GoldenShockers. Guys, GG's on a very well-run seed.
I don't know, it doesn't feel well run from my perspective, but I'm sure GoldenShocker did amazing, honestly.
I appreciate that, but that's not how I feel either. I messed up a few times that I wish I could have back now.
I think I've got more. I think I have a few complaints. Selling my Thunder Claws, that was awkward when I went to do that Fame March. That was all about Thunder Claws, you know. That was not good. My fight to get the Crystal Sword that was in the upper Babel. Oh boy, did I miss! I thought I had the Mute Dagger equipped on my edge, so I thought I'll be fine. Turns out it was an Assassin Dagger, and that kind of spiraled out of control pretty quickly. Oh, so many things I could have done. Like messing up my door grind. I thought I had the setup correct, but I guess not.
Actually, since that is kind of fresh in my mind, and there was some comments in chat about that, battle speed 3 or lower is where you want that to be, apparently.
I thought 2 was good, but yeah.
I personally do it at 6, but that's because I'm, not in the tournament. And also you want to have a buffer from what people are saying. So if you had that Cecil in the same spot, you had the right setup at first, just wrong battle.
Yeah, that's why I was really confused when it didn't work on battle speed 2. It's like, do I have it in the wrong way around? And then agility kind of like, okay, so battle speed 3, okay.
So the real tale of this seed, let's go way back to the beginning. We get the early package and the demist. this is what I think, in all honesty, separated the entirety of the seed. Infinious, you jumped on that package and you got that edge real quick. Golden, why did you, like, you had demist and you had package, you could just wrap mist up in one nice little check. What when you're looking for two characters, what made you sleep on that check for as long as you did?
It just wasn't a priority in my mind at the moment. I mean, I don't have a specific reason. It wasn't like I had anything else I was going for, but I was just trying to focus on getting the early checks out of the way, and the package wasn't my priority when I had. I thought I was pretty good with the team I had with Kane, so I figured I'd be okay with that. I mean, knowing that there's an edge there, hindsight, probably would have been better off if I pulled that, but it is what it is.
Hey, you know what? We always say decision makings. There is no wrong decision, just the decision that you make in the heat of the moment. Speaking of decisions, I'm going to go first to GoldenShocker and then to Infinious. We have ourselves the Tella. You guys then further later on are farming your party. Infinious, you picked up the Tella and ditched out your Kane, I believe, and then GoldenShocker, you did not take the Tella and you kept the squad that you had. Starting with you, why did we not take up the exit mage and Tella, who is a great anchor in the in game?
I was thinking that I needed all the characters I had in that moment to get through the hook route, so I didn't want to drop Tella at that time. And I was hoping that I was banking on getting Tella somewhere else or getting a different anchor, which luckily I got that Sid and then the Edward right at the very end. I thought it was the right play at the moment.
Infinious?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I figured at that point in time, I didn't have any. I really wanted that anchor. I was aiming out when I went to my tracker. I initially took out Palom and replaced it with Tella, but then I thought about it again and figured, well, Palom's still probably useful because I can get him to Quake. That meant it's like, okay, so I've got I have a X-Scout Cecil at that point in time, so he's not going. I have a Rosa, so she's not going. By kind of like by process of elimination, or I have Master Edge and like a whole bunch of mute daggers, so he's not going. So it's like, well, by process of elimination, that kind of left Kane. At that point in time, I didn't have any good weapons for him anyway. It's like I had a Wind Spear, Mute Dagger. I didn't anything good. So I think in retrospect, I think it was the right decision. It was just not my initial instinct.
Fair enough. And then, so speaking of weapons, and actually more character taking, you guys both took the Cecils. Infinious, you took him after you'd thrown your Excalibur. GoldenShocker, you still had your Excal. So again, we'll go with this in reverse order. Infinious, you have no other weapon besides this crystal sword that you share around with. By the way, fantastic berserk glitch usage. So why take this Cecil when you got nothing for him to be constantly holding on to?
I was planning to glitch. I had that berserk glitch in my for that entire point. I figured with two crystal sword Cecil swinging, it doesn't matter doesn't matter what else that Cecil has. That should be good enough to get and go.
GoldenShocker?
I mean, I was really lucky to find that second Cecil in that moment because I needed a little bit more DPS. I wasn't happy with the Kane that I had, so I was lucky to run across that, and it actually worked out really well for me. It was part of the reason it was as close as it was.
Yeah, not having to worry about the glitch was definitely a really big thing. Okay, so we're gonna hit a little bit more of the early part of the seed. You guys are doing your looting, you're doing your routing. GoldenShocker, you pulled some decent stuff out of Eblin Castle. Got lucky with where those trap chests were, kind of like clustered together. You have you see where this Porum is, and you guys know, okay, so Sand Ruby is the play. We need to find that and kind of go, sort of thing. What were you guys thinking? Like, you got this edge and you've got like a decent team. What were you thinking going through these overworld checks with the squad that you've got? Let's start with GoldenShocker.
I think I wasn't satisfied with Eblin just because I didn't get anything for Kane, and that was the main thing I was fishing for there. So at that point, I just decided to try to go with what I had, use the J items I picked up, and just try to push through as much of that as I could. That was also part of the reason that I just didn't think about doing um, that first check, the package check when I got it, which in hindsight I wish I did. So at that point I was just going through kind of in order, the easiest checks, easiest to hardest, and just trying to get as many as I could. That Golbez fight hurt me a little bit. I wish I didn't focus on that as much as I did, but I needed that Rosa with the heroin robes that I had.
Infinious, the early game routing.
I So obviously, I since we have a double character hunt, I always like prioritizing checking hypo. I think I stole that idea from DL when I was watching a race. So I did the first part of Wari Pass, then kept a safety save, fully intending to reset out. Saw that was problems. Like, okay, good. That's objective. I have this knowledge. I think I don't think I actually found anything that amazing, but I figured, well, I've got enough. I think I found an assassin dagger in the last chest in upper watery pass, and I figured, well, that's good enough. I'll use that to push through. Then was it Cecil and Hobbs means that, well, this black sword I got in the first chest, I think it was first chest or second chest in lower watery pass, meant that overlord was free to me. And then obviously with the package edge is like, okay, everything else is now even freer than before.
Yeah, so you get through the overworld. You have yourselves a very clear route to that hook. This was the funnier part that Demarine and I got to have a little chuckle at. So we go through the trap chest. You have no good weapons for Cecil. You buy the lightsaber in Infinious, and then you had the direct upgrade.
Yeah,
the direct upgrade routing,
I was on this. Oh my god, that was so. It's like, yeah. All right, so it's like, I have to sell this Bahamut because we have to afford this light sword. But look, I need a weapon for Cecil. I have literally nothing. Let's just go for it. First trap test, and oh my god, the 3 sleeps, really? 3 characters get slept. Oh my god. It's like, okay, sure, XL. It's like, well, now I feel like a doofus having spent all this money to get a light sword to use for 1 fight. Great. That's okay. We'll move on. And then the second trap chest was Crystal Sword. It's like, great, I have an X-Scal I have to use for 1 fight. Actually, I feel like that's probably what tilted me was actually both those trap chest fights. Kind of put me off my game, put me off a lot because they just went so poorly. It was phenomenal.
But you recovered very
despite
well
not wiping.
Yeah, you recovered very well from them, I'll say that. So GoldenShocker, let's go the same question, because you didn't do the lightsaber into it. You did Excalibur into Crystal Sword. What was that like, finding the lovely 2 holy swords on the way up from on the way down Babel?
Well, I mean, you guys probably realized it as soon as I went into my menu, like the second I got that crystal sword, I was thrilled with that. Honestly, that was kind of the tipping point where I kind of caught my wind, like my second wind. I felt like I struggled through the overworld. I was probably 45 minutes in. So right when I got that crystal sword, I was like, all right, I don't have to worry about looting. I'm just going to push and try to get as much done as fast as I can. That's the first time I felt like I had a chance, and I was like, well, I hope that he didn't grab this one. Hopefully he didn't need it, but that was in my own mind, it helped settle me down a little bit after what I thought wasn't really a great overworld to get that crystal sword. And then I really thought I did pretty well in the underground there. That, in my opinion at least, that's how I felt when I was playing.
Yeah, you guys did really great when you hit the underground. Although it's really interesting, we have one runner here who got tilted from fighting a crystal sword, and one runner who got calmed down from fighting a crystal sword. Just shows you just the difference in the mentalities and such like this, which is great. But so we have Infinious again. You get to rise to 4 and 2. You get to do those lovely play-in rounds. GoldenShocker, unfortunately, you are officially eliminated. How do you feel about this tournament as an overall, the flag sets, and just running the Lali-Ho League? How have you felt about it so far, as an all?
Well, I mean, it was the first 6 races I've ever done. It was a brand new experience for me. So the fact that I was this close to making it into brackets was just awesome. Like I really enjoyed the whole experience. Definitely enjoyed kind of learning the game through the league basically. Um, I'm going to be in trouble whenever I do different flag sets from here on out, but it was definitely an enjoyable experience. I definitely appreciated everybody that put it together and everything that goes with it.
Wow, that's actually impressive. This being your first tournament and first real experience in the free enterprise community, and you come 3-3. Yeah, it just shows that again the quality of a player that you are. I'm excited to see where you go from here. To see you in more community races once those start back up. To the ladder league that we have going on. That's fantastic, and I'm really excited to see you come into more and see where you go from here. That's absolutely wonderful. On the flip side, Infinious, you're still kicking around. How are you feeling about going into another round of these Swiss flags before we start seeing what brackets are like?
I don't know, like I'm actually kind of relieved, if that's kind of weird, because I started off strong 3-0, but then I took two unfortunate losses, and I thought I'm going to feel really sad if I don't make it from into at least the playing stage from a 3-0 start. So kind of relieved I managed to get there, but yeah, still need to tighten up my play a fair bit, because I don't think, because I get destroyed in planes if I play the way I did just now. Too many errors from my perspective.
You almost lost to the new guy, so just saying.
Hey,
I mean,
rando
yeah.
gonna rando, guys. Don't. It's all good. Demi, do you have any questions for our runners?
I think you covered everything. I can't believe that GoldenShocker's gonna ruin me in the ladder this next week. I'm gonna run into him, and it's gonna be really bad for me, and I'm gonna be real excited and a little bit sad, but mostly excited.
I'm excited to watch that.
A lot of new talent out there in this tournament, finishing at 4-2 and 3-3, and it's a tough ride to get this far. So congratulations to you, Infinious. I wish I could watch your streams more because we stream at the same time, but I look forward to your practice. I look forward to seeing what you do to get yourself together in this next week off to see if you can maybe put together a run into the top 16 and possibly beyond. You've got the skill. It might just be a couple breaks that get you there.
Yeah, I think yeah, I tend to agree. I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I think I've done one bracket C, but that was kind of a wacky flag set, and also had a crystal sword settled early, so like not sure if that's representative of what I should be expecting. But I'm actually I don't know, my initial thought on the flag set was like, this doesn't look great, but having actually played, okay, admittedly a wacky version of it, I'm coming around. It's an actual interesting thought experiment of what to prioritize in terms of purchasing and that kind of thing.
All right, again, wonderfully well done by the two of you. That was a great race, almost 17 out of 17, showing up a whole bunch of the seeds. Thank you guys very much for your race tonight and for letting us restreaming you. Huge thanks. Again, shout outs. Guys, follow these runners, and I'm excited to see where you guys both go from here. One in the league and one in the ladder. It's going to be great to see how things go.
Thanks to both you yourself. Both Daphis and Derek for doing commentary. Thank you to Alisail for doing restreaming duties and rolling that amazing seed where we didn't get cursed by demons at Giants. Thank goodness. And thank you to Commander Lali-Ho for doing tracking.
Yeah, thank you to everybody associated with the restream team, and GG's again, Infinious. Definitely a great race.
GG's GoldenShocker. You played really well. I actually think he deserved the spot more than I do, to be honest.
Rando's gonna rando.
Yeah.
All right, again, that is both your winner and your very close second place finisher, Infinious and GoldenShockers. Time's up on the screen, 136.45 to 137.06. GG's for the both of them. As for races that we're going to be showing tonight, that is the it of it. However, tomorrow we have a fairly full schedule. We've got 4 races that are going to be restreamed, starting with Randomania and Free Enterprise at 3 o'clock. That is going to be Denari versus Ikir on Randomania, Berserk Badger versus Penguinator at 3 o'clock on Free Enterprise. Then following that, we have Area versus Vatasia 5 o'clock on Randomania, and then Lockco Live versus Poorly Drawn Bees at 6 o'clock. All these times are in Eastern. Check the schedule as just posted by Scala Kitty. Also, follow the Twitter that we have. All the times when we're going to go live and what channel, which races are going to be, always posted there, as maintained again by the lovely art wizard that is Scala. But that is going to be it for us tonight. Demi, are we just going to be sitting here till 3 o'clock tomorrow, kind of just like chatting, shooting the breeze, maybe doing some other stuff?
I mean, I could throw up a game. I mean, I've been playing Monster Hunter. We could just have Free Enterprise / Monster Hunter for the next 15 or so hours. No, we're not gonna do that. Well, we are gonna hope that y'all show up for Elimination Saturday, as those are all elimination matches tomorrow, all 4 of them. It's gonna be a party. But more importantly, yeah, we're gonna go head over and see one of those runners practicing, probably, or at least hanging out. We're gonna go see Bursic Badger, but. Daphis, I think that's that for that. I think we kept everybody enthralled for an hour and 45 minutes or so. I feel like I did my job tonight. I think you did great too. Thank you all for coming out, as always, and have a wonderful night.